Welcome to the Car Guys. This week, the 2019 Bentley Continental.
Is this Bentley's answer to the Aston Martin DBS? We're going to find out.
So here it is, the new Bentley Continental. I've just had the car prepped and washed. It's ready for me to pick up and take away. It's in a very fetching verdant green colour, almost like a British racing green, but not quite. Now what I'm going to do is take this car away from Bentley, Hampshire, give it a good old drive, and then meet up with Jason. Straight away, it does feel like a big car. It's very luxuriously appointed. I love the little cues back to the old Bentleys, like these little pull handles for the ventilation. It's great to still have that historic nod there. Overall, it feels like a very high quality Grand Tourer, which of course it is. That's really why it's been refreshed for 2019, is to make sure that it is dripping with all the latest tech. And so what you have is a sumptuous blend of old and new.
Right then, Bentley GT.
I don't think we're appropriately dressed for this car.
Let's put on some attire that's more suited to this vehicle. This is better, isn't it?
You look exceptionally dapper. Now I don't feel right. Let's try this.
It's better.
I think it's clashing with this.
One more try. Now you've got it.
This goes
that
so well.
It does. I think we should go back to normal, don't you? This is old Bentley.
Yeah.
We need to go new modern Bentley.
Need to go casual.
All right, we'll be back.
Normal service has now been resumed. So we are in the 2019 Bentley Continental.
The new GT Continent Crusher from Bentley. Brand new W12 engine.
We saw it at Geneva, if you remember.
We did.
And this is our first drive. The driving modes are accessed via this sort of bejeweled ring.
Well, very appropriate at being in, as we're in Essex, a bejeweled ring.
Home of the bejazzle.
So it says B, but so what is B?
So B, I think, is the standard comfort setting.
No, because there's one called Comfort.
Okay, in that case, it's the standard Bentley setting, which is to say a little bit sporty, a bit fruity, a little bit hard. Then you've got Sport, which is more hardcore, Comfort, super soft, and then you've got Custom, where you can set it yourself. All the controls here are physical buttons, and it's mainly the climate control and heated seats and ventilated seats and heated windscreen and rear screen. All those sort of controls are in this section, together with the temperature settings. And then down here, you've got your stop, start, off, on button. Always off, remember. Do you want to see the screen in action?
Oh,
so
go on, go.
You can have 3 different displays on the main screen at once.
Brilliant.
And when you want to add them, you actually, because it's all touch screen, you know, natch.
Yeah, natch.
But when you want to add things to it, you actually drag them over into it. Yeah. Wow. So you've got 3 main things here. We have, of course, the very important mood lighting settings. That's obviously got to be number 1. And then we've got sat nav and some car settings there.
This car in Essex, do you think?
Accent is the line that follows all the way around the car. Can you see?
Oh, is this thing here?
That there, that's the accent, and then the ambient. Yeah, and the ambient is in the door wells and footwells. These colours are very much young and hip colours because they're quite vibrant. But when you spec a car traditionally, why don't they change to sort of farrow and ball colours? Why doesn't that happen?
In this particular configuration, which is, I would call, English stately home configuration.
I think someone who has a lot of horses spec'd this car for Bentley, because, I mean, it is worth noting that we are in, I think, possibly the most horrible old Colonel spec. This is about as far removed from the spec that I would choose as it could possibly be.
I don't mind it because it's not my car.
But tell the ladies and gentlemen what we are sitting in here. What's the overall ambiance?
Well, the overall ambiance is, you feel like you're sitting in Harrods, actually.
It is, it's the Harrods food hall.
It's the Harrods food hall with lots of...
Or the luggage department. It's very traditional. So we've got verdant, which I think is the green colour on the outside.
Not British racing green?
No, inside we've got part green, part tan material and walnut. But this combination, I mean, it's just old fogey, isn't it? This is the problem.
It is old school.
I feel like I should be with someone who's wearing jodhpurs. I feel like I should have a shotgun in my hand right now, or at least in the boot.
A monocle.
A monocle, definitely a monocle.
And shouting out the window, I say!
Bentley at the moment is all about attracting younger buyers. It's all about hip. You're talking about black cars, black wheels. You've got lovely two-tone black leather, cream leather. Inside you've got these neon things, these touches. This all looks absolutely incredible when you put a bit of steel over here, and then you've got, you know, much more modern materials inside. This transforms the car.
Seats, these are lovely, comfy, aren't they?
Very adjustable, very comfy, and massage.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love a massage.
Nice little shiatsu.
And they're cooling as well.
Yep. Vented and heated seats, so it has all the luxury.
So pretty much 3/4 of the weight of this car is in the seats. What else do we think about the interior?
Some of the materials are lovely, some of them are utterly horrible.
The inside of these vents, which you have to adjust manually with your fingers, is horrible.
Yeah.
That's just
nasty plastic.
Really cheap, nasty plastic.
These little bejeweled bits are nice. There's also a lovely textured sort of metal on the inside of the door handles. But then next to it you've got these nasty plastic window controls.
Yeah.
The ones on the steering wheel, again, back to the horrible plastic. And then the whole thing is dominated by this enormous touchscreen. It's actually got three sides. You've got the touchscreen display, you have the blank piece of wood for when you're parked, and then you have the 3 dials in it for when you're driving along, but you don't want the touchscreen. I find these icons a little bit too small. To be able to hit these with any degree of precision is actually pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky.
And also, from this angle, it's kind of obscured by the steering wheel.
Yeah, you got your hand in the way.
I can't see those buttons. I actually have to look around the steering wheel.
And it's
it's
scrolling. Scrolling as well.
And it's double stacked menus as well. Look, look, extra menus. It's too much.
Heads up display, night vision.
Night vision's cool. Night vision is cool, yeah. Cool. It comes up in the dash. You know, like those views in Desert Storm from the Apaches where they just like had it before the missiles hit. I have never seen a more terrifying blind spot assist than there is on this car.
Does it literally shout, "Stop! Don't pull out!"
Everything but that. So you remember on like say the Phaeton, you had a little subtle amber light would come on to say, hey,
careful,
chill out, there might be someone coming
up the road.
Yeah, no problem, no biggie, but just watch it, yeah?
Yeah.
This one, you get the little amber light, although it's more like a massive traffic light that comes on with a million candles.
Into the corner of your eye.
Yeah. When you pass the car and you want to pull in on the left, it actually flashes.
What?
It flashes like an AA van. And it's terrifying. When you're at night and this thing goes off, I keep thinking I'm getting flashed by speed cameras. I just think that Bentley wanted to bring this car right up to date to compete with those rivals. You know, I mean, it was being hugely outclassed. 2003, the original one came out. Yeah, well, the original new one.
So it took them 15 years or so.
Well, they did another one. They did a 2003, then they did a midpoint refresh. And then this is
facelift, really.
Yeah.
But this is a new platform.
Yeah.
New engine.
This car, as we're sitting in at the moment, is something like £210,000.
Shut up!
Yeah, it starts.
Really?
It starts about 150, 160 basic.
But then you have to add seats, add a steering wheel, add wheels, that kind of thing.
It's not like Porsche. It's not that bad.
He was saying thank you for driving so slowly.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, a lovely man.
Let's go back the other way.
I mean,
shit
just shit past him. Blow his dog off the lead. What is worrying me slightly here is that I'm getting lots of admiring nods and winks from old men.
Yeah, because this is an old man car, especially in this.
That's not what I want. I don't want old men to wink at me as I drive by or to wave and go, lovely car, gentlemen, lovely.
Around here, this is all shooting country.
I don't mind that.
They all love that.
I don't mind doing it in a vintage Bentley. I don't want to do it in a brand new one. I want to attract an entirely different type of gun dog. This gear selector is not a nice thing to use. 2 points. Number one, the actual movement to and from. You have to press the Bentley button down, which is a nasty button, in order to select the gears. Okay?
Right.
That's not a nice action. It sort of feels like one of those old joysticks from the 80s that you used to have with a video game console.
Oh, okay, a bit the old Atari.
Yeah. But more worryingly, and I don't know why they're doing this, on every other automatic car, to put it in park, you put the selector all the way forward. So you didn't even need, you could finish the sentence because it's so intuitive, right? If you want to park it, you have to press this
P button.
Nasty little P button, which has all, can you see the way it moves the...
But it moves the whole thing forward.
Yeah. Can you hear that? So that's the going to park. Now, how many times are owners of this car think, right, I'll put it in park and straight through into reverse and then get out the car?
Boom, car backwards,
Feel
runs
it?
over the wife.
See, we're going backwards, we're going backwards.
I'll go.
Let's give it a little bit of the old
Beanage.
beanage.
Let's have some beanage.
This is where the sporting credentials, I mean, it really goes, doesn't it?
It really
Ready?
does go.
Ready?
It goes, Bentley goes. Oh, that's pretty quick, that, isn't it?
But then,
Oh, that doesn't stop very quick.
I think the brakes are the size of dustbin lids, but even they struggle to bring this car to a stop that quickly. Second gear,
Right.
new Bentley Continental, ready?
Mash it. Yeah, that's got some proper torque, isn't it? Although it doesn't feel that quick.
Doesn't feel that quick, which is surprising given it's supposed to be 3.6 0 to 60, but also there was quite a delay there as well as the turbo spooled up. So it's a bit laggy.
That laggy thing,
Yeah,
you?
I agree. It doesn't feel super quick.
I mean, it's got a load of torque, which is lovely.
Yeah, for pulling caravans.
Big load of torque, yeah, for pulling caravans.
Torque, very important.
It's definitely not a Alpine Pass car, is it?
No. No, you can feel the weight. There's delays in the responses.
It certainly doesn't feel DBS quick.
There's quite a lot of wallow going on, which you'd expect. This is a GT car, remember, so we're not expecting it to really set your pants on fire. Steering is relatively light.
I can feel the traction control kicking in.
Is this the bit where you take off?
Yeah.
Hey!
I actually quite like it to drive. It's not pointy. You have to wait for it in the corner. You have to wait for it to come out of the corner. But it's fairly quick. It belies its speed. It is a lot quicker than it feels. Oh,
Why is the seatbelt tugging at me? Stop tugging!
honestly.
What is going on?
So the RS6 does that, but the RS6 does it in a kind of gentle, I'm just here for you.
This one
does
is-
It's a, oi, oi!
Here we are, an exclusive Car Guys from the back perspective of the new Bentley Continental.
I say, James, could you take me home, please? Right, okay, so in the back, the seats are quite a lot snugger than the front seats.
What's the legroom like?
Well, so I have put the passenger seat as far forward as it will go, and I've got plenty of legroom. I fear, though, when I got out of the passenger seat in a normal position for a normal grown adult, I wouldn't have got in here. I can't actually fit my toes underneath the front seat.
Oh.
So,
Why is that? Because there's so much tech. It's probably all the heating and ventilation ducts.
yeah, and I can't actually move the seat manually anyway, so that's not going to work. But yeah, I think if this seat were fully back, more than 20 minutes in here, I would be crying because my legs would have gone to sleep. That's a lovely shape, that's a lovely shape. All opened up.
I'm a big fan of the pillarless doors and windows.
Oh, pillarless doors rock. Yeah. Plenty of headroom, I will say that. Lots of headroom.
Normally with this sort of shape of car.
Yeah, you kind of end up sitting a bit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this back here? Oh, more cubby. Oh,
Medical kit?
skis.
Oh, it goes through, yeah, of course.
For your skis.
Yeah. So you can put stuff through
All the way through.
All the way through to here, nice. When this car is spec'd in a sort of modern style-y, these cut glass headlights look futuristic and starshipy.
Trouble is, on this particular spec, it kind of looks like my grand drinks cabinet. Would you like a sherry, dear? It's a nice shaped car. They've done a lot of work, I think, and a good work on it compared to the old GT. It feels more grown up than the old GT does. And then you get really poor plastics in all of the parts where you don't want plastic. That should be a metal grille. Why isn't that a metal grille? If you're out here, you've spent £200,000 on your new Bentley. You're out there lovely washing it down with your double buckets and your sponges, and you get down here and you go, oh, well, that wasn't 200 grand, was it? Oh, it's a lovely shape though. They've still kept this arch, which is quite nice. I like that detail through there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful line,
That's
yeah.
lovely. Not massively keen on these kind of oval lights. Oh, I'm going to point this out as well. What's all that about?
Well, a bit flimsy, isn't it?
Flimsy.
6 litre W12 twin turbo. Although the boot is pretty large, the problem that you do have is that it narrows as you get further in. So it's quite wide here right at the entrance, which allows you to fit a reasonable sized shotgun in, but then as you get closer to the back of it, it narrows quite considerably. So the amount of luggage that you can get in is restricted by these huge wheel arches.
So this thing here, which hands you your seatbelt, is so flimsy that the one on the driver's side is actually snapped. Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. There you go. I didn't snap it, by the way.
Bearing in mind how expensive this car is, why would you have this over a Range Rover?
Oh, now that is a good question. I'm not sure I've got an answer, because you got all the luxury, enough speed, all the toys, and it's higher up, and it's four-wheel drive.
I mean, if you were crossing the continent, I would rather be in that.
It doesn't do anything truly wrong, except perhaps not live up to the hype. When we were at Geneva, it was all about the interior, it was all about the luxury. There wasn't much talk about what it was like to drive, and that's because
it's like that's a secondary thing.
Yeah.
And actually, the luxury in here, when you start getting touching and feeling all of the plastics,
it's no Rolls-Royce.
It's no Rolls-Royce either.
I think the Rolls gives you more presence, and it's more of an event to be in and to drive.
It's not a bad car. I like to point out, this is definitely not a bad car.
By saying it's not a bad car, we're basically saying it's a bad car.
No, it's just
say
just
that
not
statement
inspiring.
without bad in the. How would you say it again? Without the word bad.
This is an adequate car.
Oh God, that's even worse. Oh my God.
It just doesn't make you go, ooh, does it?
No, I don't look forward to grabbing the keys and going out for a drive. It's a great
GT car.
Great GT
it's
car.
A great GT car. It's very comfortable in here.
Yep.
It's very quiet. It's very wafty.
It's now up to date. It's got all the tech, which is what it badly needed.
Probably want. Yeah, it's got lovely seats. It's got lots of boot space.
It is for wafting across continents.
It is.
It's not for driving like your hair's on fire.
No.
And once you settle into that mindset, it kind of makes sense. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this look at the 2019 Bentley Continental.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave your comments, ding that notification bell.
There'll be another video coming along next week.